Hello, and good evening. Happy Wednesday to you all. I am going live to TikTok, my newest platform, and so I'm just like learning my ways around here. So if you jump on and share the love. I am on Instagram Live over here and up here for you beautiful people over there in the world of Facebook, in the groups, on pages, in LinkedIn. I always have to look because I forget what they all are. YouTube and Twitter as well. So thank you, anybody that jump in on or catching the replay. I'm Terry James. I'm a holistic mindset coach and digital entrepreneur. I have been in the affiliate marketing space for 3 years now, and this just wow, digital assets, how the internet is blown up, it's just wow, right? So much to comprehend, deal with, changes in our lives. One thing I can say about recent things that have been going on, mindset and mental health is a massive thing. I'm going to move this around a little bit. Mindset and mental health is massive for me. And so I wanted to touch base on that, especially for my private community, the personal freedom movement. So if anyone wants to jump into a private community of awake like minds, which are self-development focused, holistic, healers, business, spiritual, whatever box you tick. If you're awake and you're into this mindfulness stuff and you want some support, some accountability, and a bit of a community share resources, then get yourselves over, and you can get in there very easily by getting into Facebook. Get into Facebook and put in the Personal Freedom Movement with Terry James, or even easier than that, in any search bar you can just put in personalfreedom.terrylifestyle.com, and then that link will take you straight into the group. So without further ado, thank you very much whoever's jumped on Facebook. I can see there's a couple of you there. Can you throw me up a couple of likes? Can you tell me who you are and where are you watching from? That'd be awesome. So mindset, hypnosis, meditation, what is this all about? So at this present moment in time, you might not think it's for you, and it might not be for you, but it is for everybody. Okay, so the best thing I can do is, I think, is tell you where I was and how I discovered it. So 5 years ago, I was in Spain. I was running a bar. I was engaged. We were about to have babies, and life was good. Now, in hindsight, I look back. Hello, Fiona. Thank you very much. Greetings to you. I suppose, if I'm completely honest, and I am honest with you guys, and I don't have much filters really when it comes to this stuff, but I was comfortably uncomfortable, or uncomfortably comfortable, whatever way you want to put it, in my life. I was running a pub. I was drinking pretty much daily. I remember, actually, for the 20 years I was in pubs, I remember once I went 6 days without having a drink, and then I celebrated on the Saturday night and got legless. And then up to that point, I didn't identify as someone that had a drinking problem per se. I just thought it was normal. So to be honest, I had a pretty unhealthy relationship with myself, and of course with going out partying and being a Tunbridge Wells party boy, always being in the pub, mechanic by trade, loving my football, loving going out, loving live music, partying with the boys and girls, and then becoming a publican myself. And the reason I went into the pub trade, actually, and started DJing, and that was purely to meet women, because I wasn't actually that confident to actually go and approach people. So by having that ego, that kind of mask that I could wear, got the pen, I could, basically be on a stage, and that kind of masked everything. It gave me a purpose. So then going outside of that environment to actually like meet girls, women, it was a different ball game for me. So now I know that that's ego. Now I know that I had so many kind of personality disorders, suffering in the way that we do. And then what happened 5 years ago, me and my partner, on the throes of losing 2 babies midterm, we were both in a pretty bad place, and the relationship wasn't great. Hello down there, Oxy Daisy. Great, thank you for jumping on. Give us a would it be over there? So I'm not too clued up on TikTok. It's only my second time I've gone live on there. So whatever it is you do, give me a follow, give me a like. That's cool. Ask me a question if you want to know something about hypnosis, meditation, or spirituality. Bit of a Q&A. That's always great. So anybody on any platform, if you've got any questions or anything, just throw them in. They'll pop up. I will answer them. So we lost a couple of babies midterm. That sent us both on a bit of a downward spiral. I was always someone that was sewered with a mindset, victim mindset anyway. I know that now. And through doing holistic practices and stuff, I've actually managed to actually go back in time, back into my inner child and go through those traumas and inherited beliefs and those kind of things, and actually reframe, nurture, and let go of a lot of stuff. Do I have any pets? Hello there. I'm not going to go live with anyone else just now because I've promised a couple people that I would deliver some content. I'm actually going live there on TikTok, and I'm actually going live to 10 other places as well across the globe and on the internet. So thank you very much for the offer. I'll go live with you another time. That'd be awesome. So we decided after going through that kind of trauma and what have you, that we needed to have a break, and I saw it as license just to go out. Fiona says hypnosis versus NLP. Tell us about that. Oh, well, basically, I will do when I get into it. NLP is neuro-linguistic programming. Neuro-linguistic programming, guys, is the basis for all psychology, in my opinion. Neuro-linguistic programming is the power of neuroscience. It's also the power of language. And the programming that the language actually creates. So like by talking to yourself in certain ways, by listening to certain things, it actually programs our subconscious mind. But good news, we've got a conscious mind, and our conscious mind is actually the one pressing the keyboard, essentially. But unfortunately, a lot of us aren't aware of this, and we actually allow our subconscious, the pre-programmed systems that keep us alive, and our old factory systems, to actually just take over and run our lives. But unfortunately, not all of those are serving us. A lot of those are actually full of misguided beliefs and limiting beliefs, and that can really hold us back in life a lot of the time. So someone asked, do I have pets? Yes, I have pets. I have 5 cats and a dog. Got 5 lovely pussy cats here, and a dog. We've pretty much rehabilitated all of them apart from one. One was mine from Spain. I found him when I was well, he's 10 now, so, and he was like 4 weeks old. He was literally with no tail, just on my hand, and I grabbed him, and I thought that my Staffordshire Bull Terrier that passed away a couple of years ago, that I came back from Spain to England with, I thought that he was going to munch him up. So essentially I just grabbed him off the door, and I remember smelling him and going, oh, he's so clean, like a baby. And I thought, well, it can't be a feral cat, and the feral cats are rife in Spain. And so I kept him, and then my brother was there at the time, and I said, like, can we look after him? But you're going to have to look after the cat in your room, because I think the dog's going to eat it, which is quite funny. But the dog didn't eat the cat. It's fine. They became very, very good friends. So we had a bit of a break, and in the personal freedom movement, I actually do a hour and a half live all about my awakening journey. But this is kind of where this starts, but I'll just touch on it very, very, very minorly for now, if that's even a word, minorly. So, and Daisy's got a cat. Great. We love pussycats. Great sentient beings. It's good to have animals around us. Very, very grounding, very, very holistic. And this is kind of in tune with what we're saying here. Hello down there. Xander Bentley has just jumped on from Instagram. Hello, I'm giving you a wave. So I came back to the UK about 10 months after. Well, so I've been single for about 10 months, and I was a bit lost, and I was a bit up and down, and I was drinking every day and partying and just desensitizing myself, essentially. because it was painful. I was going through a painful time. I had a few friends which were really, really well looking after me. I was struggling from anxiety, depression. I was having soaring thoughts. I was having soaring and suicidal thoughts like I'd had when I was younger. And so people were keeping a close eye on me, essentially. So I came back and I met a few people that were into spirituality, and they basically pulled me apart and just said, like, you're an empath, and this is why this is why that is. And they really opened my eyes up to a few things. So I decided to move back from Spain, and I moved back in 2018. And then I quickly knew that whatever journey I was going on was going to happen here, and the opportunities and more people, because where I wasn't working for me. And I knew that I had to get away from that. I also knew that running the pub, having businesses like that weren't sustainable. Well, I didn't think it would be sustainable in the future. I knew that back then, I thought 10-15 years time, everything's going online, so I need to learn a little bit more about online stuff and get some digital assets going. Little did we know we was going to have this little coldy flu thing going around, and basically it was going to speed up exponentially how the digital age and how we live our lives. We've actually gone forward probably about 10-15 years in advancement within a year or so, and it's got no signs of slowing up at all. I mean, just look what's happened with the likes of TikTok over the last year. Now, with the creator space, the decentralization from social media, from TV, from massive corporations that kind of control and run everything. If you look back and do your homework, it actually goes back. All these corporations, it used to be things like Coca-Cola and people that had oil companies, energy companies, food distribution chains, and that kind of thing used to hold all the power and the money. Now it's big tech companies, pharma. And then if you look at those like an umbrella, they all come back to about 5 main, I suppose, families or owners, really, that actually then the capitalization of everything, and they own everything. Thank you for the request to go live together, brother. I won't do this time because I've got a bit of subject matter I need to, and I'm going live on other channels, but I will take you up on that another time. Thank you very much, because I'd love to get involved and start using these different tools and stuff like that. That would be awesome. Thank you very much down there on TikTok. If anyone wants to join in the TikTok revolution, it's a great platform. It's essentially, it feels like to me, it's a bit like multi-streaming of games and TV. And it's got all sorts of weird, wonderful, and creative people that are really changing the game, really. I mean, essentially, it's a bit like a game. It's a game where you can support each other, you can buy each other gifts, you can, blow smoke up people, you can you can almost deplatform people as well if you do challenges with them and stuff, and then they don't get the viewership or the creator coins, gifts, or whatever. So many people are actually monetizing it as well. I mean, you see someone that's got like 4 million followers is just sitting there kind of tapping their phone or something, and then you just see all these things blowing up on the screen all the time. They've got a massive following, and I bet your bottom dollar they're making a hell of a lot of back cash from that kind of thing. So it's an exciting time to be alive. Scary, but I'd rather say exciting. It's actually the same physiology and the same bodily responses on a physical level, that it's just the label that you attribute to it that actually means whether you're going to have a panic attack or not, and freak out. So we ascertained that I wasn't in a good place. I was depressed, I was anxious, and I was very much needing help. I remember being that sort of 17, 18 years old and having this thought in my head about not wanting to be a messer, and being really, really mindful of, like, sort of being focused and working hard, and come from a hard working family background. But of course, I was focused on what I didn't want. And so guess what? I wasn't, now I'm not surprised, but then I was surprised why the shit keep turning up, because that's where my focus was. Simple as that. So it was completely on me all the time. So I came back in the March of 2018 on this journey. in the January, I started doing psychology and hypnotherapy courses and working with people and learning, studying these things. I'd never heard of such things. I thought that hypnosis, apart from I knew a hypnotic, like a comedy hypnotic guy show in Spain, and I know that he would do the whole gastric band on smoking. He actually worked with me once to do with like anger management and issues, and he'd reframed a few things. So if someone came into the pub and pissed me off, I would see the color red and start basically like it was Michael McIntyre. That was it. So someone, instead of me seeing red anger, I would see the red, and then I'd see Michael McIntyre, and it would make me smile and laugh. So that was my kind of my trigger and my anchor, and that's what neuro linguistic programming kind of is. It's going into a normal kind of reaction and then actually programming, desensitizing that reaction, allowing yourself to adapt to a better way of dealing with that situation, and then anchoring that in instead. So it might be that you have a trigger where something like a family member says, and it always gets you uptight. So what you'll do is you'll create an anchor somewhere where you can hold your hand just quietly or just for a quick second, have a thought, and then you've desensitized that reaction, and then you choose to feel a different way. So it's really, really powerful shifting tools to do with priming your body and to getting into state. So I was doing solution focused hypnotherapy, and it's very much based around allowing people to know what's happening in their body and mind. That's the first step, because if you know what's going on in your body and mind and you understand about sleep and relaxation, then hypnosis, trance, meditation, and all these things are terribly serving to you. And they're not going to freak you out or think that, you're going to be put under some sort of spell or control, when actually, in retrospect, the words and the language that we use to ourselves and to each other are the biggest spells out there, as well as how we are kind of indoctrinated in society to do certain things, to go along with certain narratives, to play along with certain trends. I mean, even our creation myth, and I'll do that another time. It's a really insightful one about a creation myth, about Newtonian paradigm not being correct. It's false. We're not physical beings, we're energy beings, and all these kind of things. So once you understand some of that stuff, it really is a game changer of how you look at life and how you look at your existence here. I mean, we are literally here in a blink of an eye, like a grain of sand on a beach is in retrospect to how long a time we actually spend here alive in this body, having this human experience. So, none of us get out alive. We all move on and we all go back to source. We all go back to energy. So try not to take it too seriously when you're here. Be kind on yourself. Be kind to yourself and to others. And, love rules the way. If you love yourself and you've got confidence and self-assuredness, then, a lot of things aren't really going to affect you, because a lot of the way we deal with life, it all comes from perspective. And sometimes we can shift that perspective just by thinking of how would I rather feel right now, or how would I rather act, or looking at how someone else would deal with that situation, someone that you look up to, maybe your superhero or something like that. Or you could even say, how would I look after this? How would I do this in 10 years time? Hello there. Aha. So the old TikTok's asking me to do something with likes and followings and stuff like that, but I'm not quite sure. Anyway, moving on. So the first time I understood about our brains, about why we suffer in the way that we do, that we have a conscious mind, which is our prefrontal cortex. This is our conscious part, which is interacting and deciphering everything that's happening in the world. Then we've got the amygdala, the hippocampus, and the hypothalamus, which are the old systems in the brain, very much the DNA of your brain. How it's fight, fright, or freeze is the amygdala. The others are for like chemical responses and how you react to things. It's all pre-programmed based upon things that have kept you alive before, like the Google search, like the history, basically. So if it knows that you did something yesterday that ensured your survival, you'll be naturally you'll be encouraged to do more of the same. So, what was this to do with hypnosis and what have you? Was to understand that we are pre-programmed to be hardwired to keep ourselves alive through looking for danger, being fearful of things, and being negative. However, we don't actually have that much to worry about, do we, this day and age? So now the problem we have with our mental health is we get panic attacks and anxiety, and it all becomes, a mismatch in our lives. We don't really know how to deal with it. However, it's all thoughts. It's all thought based. Everything, we are creative beings, and whatever we think about the most, we create. We find it like a detective. So if we saying horrible things to ourselves and we think bad things are going to happen, we're attracting that into our lives. That goes into law of attraction. And again, that could be a whole topic for another time. So your sleep is so, so important. Having restorative sleep, understanding about good gut health, and understanding about what happens when you sleep, when you change your emotional memories into narrative memories, where you've then got control over them. So if anyone's ever said to you, "I'll sleep on it," or it won't seem so bad tomorrow, that's absolutely right. Because you would literally have an argument with someone today, you'd have a little whinge up and tell your partner or someone about it, and they'd say, "Oh, don't worry about it. You see how you are tomorrow. Sleep on it." The next day, you've either forgotten about it when you wake up, or you might be thinking, "Why the fuck do I let those twats annoy me like that?" And it's kind of it's not as raw in your mind. But remember, we don't have polar bears and tribes and all sorts of things to go worry about like this day and age, and things that are going to harm us and kill us. So we actually attribute those olfactory settings and those hardwired survival instinct to things like money, being worthy, getting things right, being late, having enough money for paying bills, all these kind of things, worrying about our children. So it all goes back to thinking. Anxiety is created through us thinking in the future, worrying and trying to control it, change it, thinking about a meeting perhaps that's going to happen 100 times when you know that meetings generally go all right. And but you by the time you get to the meeting, you've thought about it 100 times, and you have the meeting, it goes fine, you nail it, in fact. Then you come out of the meeting, your brain doesn't know the difference between the meeting that's actually happened in reality and the ones that you imagined. And I imagine you'd even then start to think about the things that were said within that meeting and start kind of beating yourself up a bit about, "Oh, I could have said this better, and do they think this about me? Do they think that about me?" Madness. But we've been trained that way. We don't do enough mindfulness and oneness and kind of this holistic stuff at a level when we're children. We're taught to suppress our emotions. We're taught to not breathe properly. We're taught a host of different things society wise, which kind of, in my opinion, enslave us within ourselves, and enslave us within certain systems, which is fucking bullshit. Absolute bullshit. And it's our responsibility. It's no one's fault. It's no one's blame, because we're all victims playing the blame game and being trained by other victims. And that's it, essentially. So it's no one's fault. It's no one's blame. They're actually useless emotions. What we do have is massive, massive amounts of responsibility to actually sort that shit out. We can't sort of sit here going, "The reason my life shit is because my dad was an alcoholic and I didn't have a mum and this and that." Well, so does a lot of other people. But why does one person have, they might say, "I had no choice," but one person had no choice and they went out, made a success of themselves. Another person made the choice to actually do fuck all with their lives, and then they can be, you know, labeled down and outs or losers or whatever. But I bet you before anyone else threw that card, they were probably telling it to themselves. Or maybe, just maybe, they were bullied at school or something, or someone said something to them once, and then that stuck in their mind. It hurt them. They buried it deep. And then every time they get a trigger, it comes up. The only way that we're going to get through these kind of things, unless you've got, well, a certain amount of grit, tenacity, and strength to go, "Fuck it, I don't care," but you do care, but your ego's stepping in to protect you and push it to one side, is through hypnosis. Well, hypnosis is just relaxation trance, basically. You go into a relaxing trance all the time. You might go into a daydream. You might be watching telly. You might be going out for a run. You might be on your bike. I mean, bet anyone that drives has experienced it once or twice when they're driving home from somewhere and all of a sudden they're home. They don't remember the last 5 minutes of the journey or something. That is trance, and your subconscious mind has basically taken over and got you home. So actually, we'd be really, really grateful for this subconscious mind because it's super, super powerful. Love what you're saying. Finally, someone real. Oh, bless you. Thank you. That's what I'm all about. So tell all your friends. Tell all your friends. Give us up a like and a share, whatever you can do, really. And I appreciate you. Make sure you follow as well and reach out to me because I love meeting new people and I love sharing what I know. So for a man that was anxious and depressed, I was right mardy. I was a moody, angry kid, and a lot of that was for protection. I know that now, and sometimes I'm grateful because having that kind of that little asshole inside me, which is still there and still shows his head sometimes, but there's a certain amount of grit and determination. There's that kind of tenacity inside me of not giving up that's helped me to get through certain things and not give up because otherwise I wouldn't be here for sure. There's been times in my life when the voices in the head have kind of gone, oh yeah, give up and go and do this and make people guilty. And I suppose we all have that. We all have searing thoughts, but it's the acts, nothing. We've all got good and bad inside us, basically, guys. And nothing defines you apart from the actions that you take. And if you want to reprogram that stuff, the only way you're going to do it is by looking at some sort of way of reprogramming. So if you look at neuro-linguistic programming, you're talking about changing the neurological pathways, which are like your thoughts that fire. When you have repetitive thoughts, they'll actually fire in clusters and they'll wire together. And then they start showing up on their own as either negative automatic thoughts, or if you've programmed them in, positive automatic thoughts, pats and ants. So I did the hypnotherapy course, and the first time that we sat down, learned about this stuff about serotonin when we have positive thoughts, about how in society we've replicated certain feel-good chemicals in our bodies with like looking at your phone, dopamine, having good endorphins released when you're giving someone a cuddle, when you're doing exercise, these kind of things. So it's really, really important to know the physiology of bodies and how bodies and brains work, because then we can actually go about changing them. If you understand why you're suffering, then you know why it's happening. So if you're standing there, you're thinking, oh my God, have I got enough money to pay for this? You're not going to stand there and freak out. You're going to understand that, well, actually, it's just because I'm thinking about this. That's why it is. And so then if you have your heart starts going fast and you're thinking, oh my God, I'm going to die, that kind of thing, you're not going to die. You're going to be fine. But you need to tell yourself that. So with hypnosis, by essentially just listening to something, hypnosis is so ordinary in so many ways, because all it's doing is when you're focused on one thing, and this is why it's different to meditation, because when you're focused on one thing, with meditation, actually, it basically just means to focus on something. And if you have guided meditations, you're practicing the muscle of going to the place of no thought. That's all it is. Because when you go to no thinking, that's consciousness. And when you practice consciousness and being present in the moment with no thinking, it raises your vibration, it raises your energy levels, and it also allows you to connect with yourself on a higher level. So if you believe in spirituality, well, actually, say believe in spirituality, everything's spirituality essentially, isn't it? So because all spiritual means is that cannot be portrayed within words. So it's basically anything that you can't explain, which is all to do with spirituality and science. And that's what I love about hypno and spirituality. I'm very much one to talk about science, facts, proof. And the science is completely caught up now with spirituality, and we can prove a lot of things about us being energy beings, about how our bodies and our minds work with neuro-linguistic programming, neuroscience, and actually what's possible for us. I mean, if it wasn't a true thing, then why do people heal themselves without medicine? Why is there a naturopath? Why has this stuff been around for thousands of years? It's always been around because, of course, it is everywhere. So it's never gone anywhere. It's just been silenced by people that don't want you to realize that the power is within you, not without. So everyone wants to get instant gratification. They want to seek happiness externally from them. And then that's, it sets you up for a fail, in my opinion. But when you know that and understand that, you can take strong power, take yield, take back the power. The power, take it back. Because it's all yours anyway. It's all within you. It's in me, it's in you, and we're all connected. So Hypnosis is actually when the two minds focus on the same thing, and it allows you to very, very quickly, dynamically, and relax in a relaxing way, reprogram your mind. So hypnosis, and I've used hypnosis for the past 4 years, and I use hypnosis daily. My routine is basically go to bed with hypnosis or delta waves, and that helps me not to worry about what's been on, going on during the day or the next day. But I also do express a bit of gratitude before I go to bed. So I'll have a crystal or a stone, and I'll hold it to my chest, and I'll just be like, what were the best things that happened today? And just think about all the good things that happened. Sometimes before going to bed, because I'm into marketing and digital entrepreneurship, I do have to have a little check in with myself, like as a boss, to say, okay, what did you do today? What can you do better? And how would you change it? Because it's a good way of having like a bit of reflection. When I wake up in the morning, I'll normally wake up a couple of hours before. Well, I'm 40, so I always wake up to need a pee or so, one or two, and I'll chuck on something like affirmations, which are the same ones that I've been using for years. There might be like, say, 5 different things that I'll use, and I'll use different ones at different times, but I've been using them over and over again. So it's just reaffirming, it's just topping up what I already know. But I do know, even after all this time of doing this stuff, if I stop for a couple of days, some of the old factory settings will kick back in. And why wouldn't they? They were around for longer. 37 years before I picked up any of this stuff. So 37 years of feeling worthless, unworthy, unloved. 37 years of calling myself certain things, sewering my mind so that I would be like pissed and stoned, or pass out, and then wonder why I felt so shit the next day. And you'd force yourself to the gym and do all these good things, and then you'd like go and have another pint and be down the pub. It was just the norm. Even the food that we eat is terrible for us at times, and it's certainly not conducive for the kind of happy homeostasis and a thriving environment for our bodies, let alone our minds, let alone water, for instance. What's in our water, and if we're not even drinking enough water, it's absolutely terrible. So awareness around life optimization techniques, spiritual techniques, or holistic practices is super, super important and powerful, and it is for everyone. And the secret is, guys, and this is what you, like the average person, the ordinary human being, doesn't know. Every successful person knows about this stuff. They do. And it's nothing new. People, even like back in the 40s and 50s and 60s, sports people will be using hypnosis to imagine and visualize them winning or doing certain things. I know boxers have won world championship title bouts and fights, which basically hypnosis saved them where they were knocked out. But then because they programmed it in to do certain things, it looked like they were fine, but really the lights were on, but no one was home. And then they kind of came back round, but they just went straight into doing something. I can relate to that, because a couple of times when I've had like really bad accidents, I've kind of got up and just cracked on and pushed on and had a really positive mindset to keep me going, when you'd think, well, why didn't I just lie there and do nothing? I suppose it's because it's that old thing of survival and wanting to stay alive, I suppose. Oh, I've got 7. Oh, batteries are running down on everything, guys. Crazy. So meditation, oh, let's close that down. Meditation is essentially guided meditations. They're not always got like binary beats and that kind of things, but they're truly, truly good. And again, they're doing. So I panicked because the feed behind, because I. There we go. We're back. So sorry if I dropped out of Facebook and that. It says that I've got terrible signal. Don't know why. Well, anyway, cracking on. So meditations are super, super powerful. I like using reprogramming audios, which essentially are meditations during the day. They could be like 6, 7, 8 minutes, even 10 minutes long. And they are just like, I've done one today, and I always end up putting it on a couple of times, to be honest, because once I've kind of let myself go, I've done a couple of breath works. Breath work is super, super powerful as well. Breath work really allows you to get back into the present moment. So breath work is one of the major things when it comes to anxiety, for stepping you back into the moment. And by the way, depression is just thinking in the past. True that. So depression is thinking about things that have already happened, which you've got no control over, and probably the version of it that you're playing in your head isn't a true representation of it anyway, because it's been warped and morphed, and you've changed it somehow. Like when you tell a story, you kind of embellish a story, especially if someone's like, oh, like really interested in a certain part, you're going to turn around and you're going to emphasize that, because we've got this willingness inside us that wants to be loved and liked and feel important. So that's essentially how I stepped into that power. And then what's it done to me since? Well, 4 years in of using hypnosis and holistic practices, it's allowed me to do life coaching. I went down a road where I was like, okay, I know about hypnotherapy, working with people, but I was like, I want more. I want more of this stuff. So I did an Nlp Practitioners Course. That's what these things are behind me on the wall if you're looking on Facebook. On the other ones you can't see because I'm just like elongated instead of this way. And I've done I've worked with some amazing people. I've had some amazing millionaire and billionaire mentors to do with business, finance, which I didn't have that mentorship. I didn't have that kind of leadership from family or from like father figures or mentors growing up. So I had to seek it as an adult. And then basically this little Peter Pan at 37 went and sought out information so that he could really step up when he hit his 40s into like 4.0, 22, and really hit the ground running and be able to help other people. Because as soon as I heard and learned about a lot of this stuff, my initial reaction was, why the fuck doesn't anyone else know about this stuff? And I was pretty angry. I was angry that the world had hidden it from us in some way or form, or that we weren't to know about it. I mean, go and check out the film on Netflix, The Secret, not the one with Matthew McConaughey from the 2020 or something like that. Go and look at the older one which says like The Secret. It's got like this big red emblem thing. It looks like years ago when they used to put the wax thing on a letter and then stamp it. It looks like that. So that's actually a documentary about the law of attraction. Another thing you could do is a book called The Magic, which is all about expressing gratitude and how just being focused upon gratitude daily and doing little things like journaling, writing down what you want to do, your intentions, the way you see things, even brain dumping. These kind of things are super, super powerful and really, really important. And again, every successful person knows about this stuff. It's nothing new. It's just that no one told you, or you do know about this stuff, but maybe you're a bit lazy with it. Maybe like me, you do some of it and some of it's not for you, but you kind of know the more you do of it, like goal setting and going like 7 deep dive into why. These kind of things are really, really powerful. And when you actually do certain things, your life changes and it shifts. So what do I do now? Well, apart from doing this whole decentralization thing and offering value, doing breaking news hacks for virality and playing the internet with certain content. I mean, I know that this content's really, really good and it'd be repurposed many, many times. However, it might not get a lot of people the first time. It might be that more people in a year's time, when maybe I've got more following than back then, than I have now, that then get to benefit from it. But it means that I don't have to keep repeating myself too much. I've got a private community called the Personal Freedom Movement. You're welcome to join that. Just tap into any search bar, personalfreedom.terrylifestyle.com. Come and join us. There's 270 odd people in there. We're healers, therapists, awake people that are spiritual or on a self-development journey or self-development focused, and we can share resources and support in there, especially for the awake side. What I'm doing is, with this decentralization stuff, I'm actually setting up and have set up different platforms for different things so that I can actually move away from certain places like Facebook, where we don't have freedom of speech, where we can't do the things we want to do. And there's also this thing called the creator economy. So certain platforms like TikTok now, when people got good following or have good videos, there's monetization tools and ways to support each other in that way, gifting and stars. And it's an exciting time to be alive. And it's fucking scary. But it depends. I mean, I know a narrative that's played out right now, and I know personally and this is my belief system, so of course it's just an opinion, and it could just be a fairy tale, really, to be honest with you. That there's certain things being played out at the moment, there's certain changes coming, certain things like how are we're going to live in the future, the way that we communicate, the way that we work, the way that we do many things. It's all changing. It's no secret, really, to be honest with you. I mean, the proof is there, and a lot of it's been said in the past, and it's there. But if you're blind to see it, or you don't want to believe it, that's completely up to you. But there is a minority of people that are awake. I am very much one of them. So I like to be in a place where I can talk to people about that stuff, and also be an arm to help other people to either open eyes, or step into the light, because everything's within us, and it all starts with our thinking. So with hypnosis and meditation and mindfulness and all these like spirituality and good feels and these things we can do, you're talking about being in like true alignment. And we can either go through our lives being overweight, being unhappy, doing things and dealing with situations, being put through disgusting ordeals by the people that are supposed to be the closest ones, or the people who care about us, being triggered here, triggered there, and maybe, yeah, a false illusion of freedom, maybe a false kind of illusion of happiness. But everyone gets to decide, and everyone's choice to move towards what they want, which tends to be away from pain and towards pleasure. That's how we buy, right? That's how we buy anything. We hate being sold to, but we love to buy. So I then worked for a couple of years one-to-one with clients, doing hypnotherapy and bit coaching and that kind of thing. International, or on an international level, I'd be traveling around and going to Spain and going to other places, and I'd be working with people via the internet virtually. So it worked well for me. I've had a couple hiccups along the way as well, where I've had bad accidents, or I've ended up being like having banks hacked and being penniless and homeless, and then I've ended up like falling back on friends, family, whilst I build it all up again. I've got a digital marketing business, which is a high ticket affiliate marketing business to deal with medical grade water systems, and I don't know, um, that is awesome. As soon as I didn't, I use these products for the past couple of years, and I love them. I don't shout about them all that much, and I should do. But what I do like to do is I do like to put out my vibe, attract my tribe, find the right people like Fiona over here that has just said a nice comment for us, that I can support. They give me support as well. We turn an acquaintance or someone that you meet online into like a long-term friend, which then becomes family to you. And then you can grow together using these digital assets to promote, sell any product or service that you have or want to have. And of course, if you don't have any and you want to get into that space for future security, get away from 9 to 5, get away from the employment slavery, which is employment, like I did all those years ago, then there are plenty of things that you can be doing. There's all sorts of things out there. I really like the things that I do. It resonates with me because I like coming out. I like giving value. I like to help people. And the main part of any kind of health and wealth journey, it starts in your mind. You've got to be able to, have the tools. So we love just working and having ordinary people that have got extraordinary tools and extraordinary capabilities within themselves to actually help and change the world. And then we help them along the way, whatever that vision is, because everyone's vision is slightly different. But at the beginning, everyone's all about like, oh, I want to, I want happy. I just want to be happy. I just want to be able to retire my parents, or oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. And it's like it's all pre-programmed. So it takes a while. It's taken me a couple of years actually to get really clear about how and what it was that I wanted to do and how I wanted to help people. So now it's about me just putting myself out there and helping as many people as I can. People like you, that you're going to have to, like me. It took me a long time. It took me 20 years to open my eyes, but whenever our time to open our eyes and step into that space of wanting to help ourselves is exactly the right time for you, and there are people here to help you. So I'm going to leave it there, guys. It's been 45 minutes. It was supposed to be 20 because I can talk, can't I? should have been a talk therapist. Oh, wait a minute. But it's about listening. So on another time, I will be getting on duels and duets with people, and that's fine. And throw us up if you're watching this another time anywhere. Thank you very much down here to Instagram. Thank you very much up here to TikTok. Love you, love your filter. And thank you very much at the back. Not that you know that you're back, but you're in the forefront and right in my eye. Look at them eyes. I'm grateful to be here, and I'm grateful for you to be here. So if you have watched this and like this, well, even if you didn't like it, chuck us up a hashtag replay. If there's anything in particular that you want to know or resonated with, or something that can help you, hypnosis and meditation can help you with a plethora of different things, whether it's PTSD, what's that other one? ADHD, even like autism, quietening the mind, balancing brain waves, giving people that clarity of space and relaxation, because that's where it all starts. It all starts with health, and you need to start with your health, with nourishing food and beverages, drinking plenty of water, being in the mind gym, being mindful, the 3 Ps: thinking positively, acting positively, and interacting positively with one another. But it starts with being nice to you, being kind to you, because if you're talking shit to yourself all day, how do you expect to be nice to anyone else? So it's got to start with you. Everything starts from within. Otherwise, you often go without. So please stop seeking gratification instantly away from you, and give yourself 10 minutes every day to take a break from your life, to allow yourself just to go into the place of calm, into where peace and love resides inside of each and every one of us. Because at the end of the day, if you can switch off your thoughts and just sit there and no thinking, it's bliss. Honestly, say time flies when we're having fun. Check out one of my lives I'm going to do very soon about creation myths, because creation myths, if like what I just did then, I literally went to a place of no thought. They say time flies when you're having fun. Well, basically, if you're not having negativity and all these limitations around you, which are just there for us to have an experience, we would be in perpetual bliss all the time, and time would just fly. What is time? Time is just like the space between two objects, right? And the distance, or the time in which it takes to go between the distance. Some bullshit. It made me laugh the other day when someone said about Stephen Hawking, went, "Oh, that guy in the wheelchair that invented time." And I was like, "What? My phone just died." Well, I love TikTok. Let me put that on charge. But hey ho, we learn as we go, don't we? We learn as we go. That's so funny. This one, the internet kicked off on this one. This one, the battery died. This one, I had to plug the battery in, and that one literally died. Oh well. So I'm gonna get off now. Love you loads. Make sure get yourselves over to the personal freedom movement. You can join up. I'm not going to ask you for emails or anything. You can just go straight in there, and that is personalfreedom.terrylifestyle.com, and that's on Facebook. So thank you very much. I'm saying goodbye to you, Instagram toodles. Endings. And thank you very much for your Facebooks, LinkedIn's, YouTube's, Twitters, and everything else. Good to have you with us. And I'll speak to you all soon. Have a wonderful Wednesday. Take care, guys. Any questions you've got, reach out, chuck something in the comments for me, put a hashtag replay, ask me questions. I'll get back to you. And I'm happy to help. And if you're going through a lot of drama, or you want to reach out and talk about how we can help you, then there's loads of ways, okay? And help starts with you reaching out, basically the same way it took me a fucking long time to actually realize that and start doing the stuff that I needed to become the best version of myself. And that's why I'm sat here now. Thank you very much, guys. Take care. Love you, and love yourselves first. Bye.